Yes, and now let me announce the next panel, which will be devoted to the cooperation with fintechs. And let me invite the moderator of the panel, Charles Alexander Gamba, partner and founder of the ITDS in Poland, and also the investor of several tech projects. And the one is Mvox, which was just presented by Andrzej. Charles, hello and welcome.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Hello, hello, Charles.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. So first of all, we are very delighted to put forth every year this event with ITDS. Despite the current circumstances, the summit is still every year, very professional and resilient. And on top of that, I think that event is having more and more amazing content and people. So thank you so much, Joanna, and your team for making it happen. And we are very proud to thank for your organization. So it is no time to discuss fintech. We will start with two presentations from our dear speakers from Raiffeisen International. Then altogether with amazing professionals from the industry, we will address a major question: is fintech a bubble? So I would like to first invite Kristen Wall, Head of Strategic Partnership and Ecosystem of Raiffeisen Bank International, to the stage.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction and the invitation that I can present our approach to fintech collaboration today on this gorgeous event. My name is Christian Wolf. I'm heading the Strategic Partnerships and Ecosystem Department, part of Group Strategy in Raiffeisen Bank International. Even though we are headquartered in Vienna, Austria, we consider our core markets all across CEE, from the very large ones like Russia, but also down to the Balkan countries, as for instance Albania. So we more or less cover a huge
I'm muted actually, so
market. Recently run. We have built up over the last 4 years a program called Elevator Lab. The Elevator Lab is Raiffeisen International's answer to the need of a more structured approach when it comes to fintech cooperation and collaboration. And we have set this up, as said, 4 years ago, and we are now running currently we are running in the 4th batch of the program. What is actually that program? The program is actually split up in 3 different parts. 2 of them we would consider local, and there is 1 global program. I'd like to quickly introduce the global program. The global program, titled as Elevator Lab Partnership Program, is a yearly approach where we aim at partnerships with global fintechs. We are looking here at later stage fintechs. We are here running a 9-month program that includes a 4 to 5 months POC phase. And what we actually aim to do here is that together with our business lines, together with our banks locally located in the CE markets, we identify areas of interest where we as a bank believe that we need more innovation, where we want to actively look for cooperation. And within the program, we invite global fintechs that are at a later stage, meaning that they already have a marketable product, to join us in running together POCs. And the idea here is that we do not, so this is an equity-free program, so we offer a POC fund, we actually finance that, and we offer also, of course, once we have a proven POC up and running, that we scale it into our other markets, but basically at that stage, we do not take any equity. So this is really a partnership program that aims to cooperation and co-innovation. On the other hand, we have very local programs. As I just mentioned in my introduction, we have a very heterogeneous landscape of different markets. Some of them very advanced, some of them are in the midst of the journey to maturity, to digital maturity. And of course, we want to cater specifically to that heterogeneity. And as such, we have set up local programs. One of them we call the Elevator Lab Challenge. This is where we team up with regional or local later stage startups in a 2 to 3 month program, and we invite them to cooperate locally with our local subsidiary bank in each country. And last but not least, we have for the early or very early seed stage startups, we have an educational program that we call the Elevator Lab Bootcamp. This is where we, together with the startups, sit together, we mentor them, we help them with the capacities and resources that we have internally within our bank to develop their own minimum viable product. And if we see this working out, we also, of course, offer a track into market launch within our countries. This program, as said, already ran through 4 different batches. Within these batches, we evaluated over 1,200 fintechs that applied from all across the globe. We ran here more than 20 different POCs, and we already had, of course, quite some successes when it came into implementing these products into our own offering. And this I want to quickly show here on the next slide. For instance, we had set up then different cooperation and market product launches with different fintechs, in different countries, all of which start, of course, in some specific country or locally, but we aim very much at scaling them at least into our countries, or even taking beyond the POC funded investment. But on that, my colleague Max Schausberger will report just in the presentation right after me. Why I'm telling you that story is because these 4 years of intensive cooperation with our fintechs also brought us a lot of insights into these markets. And we thought that at least back then, there was no comparable officially accessible publication on the fintech ecosystems within CEE. So we decided, why not share this knowledge and make it available to all those interested. And this was the birth of our CEE Fintech Atlas that we just launched the 2nd edition last year. And we are now working very hard to have a 3rd edition published in the course of next year on a completely different format and platform. So you can stay excited. There will be a very cool thing developing and quite soon announced. What does this Fintech Atlas do? The Fintech Atlas does, of course, cover our own CEE markets where we operate in, but we also included those markets where we believe there is fintech systems developing quite nicely, and we have a lot of insights that we want to learn, but that we also want to share. And so we also included, for instance, as just one example, Turkey into that coverage as well. The Fintech Atlas itself is sharing our own expertise. So what did we learn in the course of our cooperation? But it also looks into the future, looking into what are the main developments, what innovative things and product developments are going on in these ecosystems, but also how do these ecosystems actually organize. At the okay, now my slide is not. Oops. At the end, I just quickly want to summarize what were the major findings of our latest edition. The latest edition, we deliberately had focused on the topic of open banking because we actually really believe that beyond PSD2, okay, somebody's now switching my slides, that beyond PSD2, there is a big potential on APIs, and you can already see it on my sweatshirt here. I'm a strong believer in APIs because it's not just about digitalization anymore, it's about connectivity, it's about interconnectivity. So how do I ensure that different providers, different products, different processes, different infrastructures actually talk to each other, and as such form an integral, needless, and seamless customer journey. So we focused at the open banking topic. what we saw is, in general, looking at that, and especially that we have achieved great progress in all of these countries, because also the local regulators actually started developing officially standardized guidelines on securely sharing sensitive data. And this was actually a huge push for the fintechs in the markets, because there was, of course, initial reluctance on the fintech side, but also on the incumbent side about sharing data in the absence of such a regulation. And I wouldn't say this is completely solved, but we see it in a very good way developing. On the other hand, of course, our own experience in cooperation with fintechs, but also what we see with other banks is that open banking actually really changed the perspective on how we cooperate and co-create. Open banking was for us a super driver for openness, as it's already in the name, but also for digital cooperations and partnerships. Last but not least, I want to mention that we still believe very tightly into the fact that there is not the one or the other. So there is not fintechs will win the race or incumbents will win the race. I think the benefit, or in general, it will end up in a very cooperative environment that leverages both parties' best capabilities in order to create something cool and something new for our customers alike. This is already a little bit of a preview to what very probably Max will now continue talking about. What we've also seen in our market research, that there is a new peak in the level of fintech investments in the CE markets. We also see that especially the ticket sizes are growing, still not comparable to what we usually would see out of the Silicon Valley, but definitely some increase in progress here. And at the end, that we also see quite some local and regional venture capital funds popping up. I just gave an example here, the Speed Invest colleagues from Austria, but we also have the Startup Wise guys from the Baltics, etc. And I believe a fintech ecosystem does not only live by the fintech and the cooperative bank that works together, but it also includes, of course, those who give the capital, those who share the risk, those who give access to markets, to clients, and even to technology. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and if you should have any questions, do not hesitate.